Greetings, salutations, and welcome to the Kreeger cast. I'm your host, Patrick Kreeger, and I'm joined once again by Matt.
What's going on?
So, last week, we recorded an episode where we were talking about our road trip around the country, and I've invited Matt back today to continue that discussion.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think we left off somewhere around Virginia.
That's what I believe.
Definitely as we were headed out of Florida. So,
well, I think we talked about South Carolina, North Carolina, or something. Just driving through.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got nothing else to add until Virginia.
I have a couple of things to note. One, I loved that the Georgia sign said, "We're glad Georgia was on your mind" when you were leaving the state.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty good. And beyond that, I can't really think of anything because we mostly just drove through.
Yeah.
With the intent on getting to Virginia more or less as fast as possible because the 100th anniversary of the Boy Scouts was going on and we didn't know exactly how we were going to get in or anything.
Exactly. We just kind of showed up.
Yeah.
Unannounced.
So do you want to explain the chaos that happened at Fort A.P. Hill or should I?
You can definitely explain that. That was a fiasco.
So the Boy Scout Jamboree used to be held at the same place every year for decades. It's Fort A.P. Hill, and it's in Virginia. And I had been there once before for the Boy Scout Jamboree back, oh gosh, I want to say in like 2005. Because the 2007 was the World Scout Jamboree.
Yeah.
And then this would have been the 2010 World Scout Jamboree.
Yes.
Or National Scout Jamboree.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I knew the facility a little bit, but I only knew it as a scout, not as someone who was driving to the event. So we showed up, and there was like a visitor section, and there was like an MP guiding people each way.
Yeah, and he noticed that we were in a Charger, and for whatever reason, I guess he was like, "Oh, government issue Charger, come on this way." And it was completely against all the normal traffic getting into Jambo.
And he only waved us by.
Yeah, he was like, "All right, you guys go left, you guys go left, you guys go left. All right, Pat and Matt with the Charger, you go the right." Okay.
We had California plates on, so it's not like we had government plates on.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what he was thinking. He probably just saw a make, model, head this way.
Remember when we got searched by the MP, they explained that, actually.
I don't remember that.
Oh, yeah. No. So I'll get to that when we get to that. So they headed us off in one direction, and we ended up very much lost because this is not where the public was supposed to be. This was purely for military personnel as well as event staff.
Yeah, we were just literally driving all around the base.
Yeah, which was funny that we never got stopped or questioned.
Yeah.
The only vehicles that were supposed to be there were military vehicles and the buses for the Jamboree.
Yes.
We were on the bus route. Now, I can't remember where we ended up meeting Tyler. I think we met him at the bus depot. Because we ended up at the bus depot at one point.
I think so.
We might have ran into Tyler at the camp. We actually drove through the campgrounds.
Yeah, that was chaotic. I don't know how we did that.
Yeah. And the biggest issue was finding parking because, again, they weren't designed to have guests there.
No, which was weird to me.
Well, the whole thing was kind of surreal. We spent a full day there.
Yeah.
I don't know how we found parking. This was, 8 years ago. But we did find parking.
Yeah, I think we parked right near the campsite, to be honest.
I think we parked with the group's vehicles.
Yeah.
That, weren't supposed to move.
Yeah.
For the duration of the event. But then we wandered around the campgrounds. We had lunch there, presumably. We went to the gift shops.
Yes.
Looking for custom cast iron, because the 2005 National Jamboree had custom cast iron. The 2010 did not.
Wouldn't know. Did not look.
Well, I picked up a Kniff 100th anniversary of Boy Scouts in America knife. And a couple other bits of flotsam from the gift shop. And we spent the day with Tyler. We drove him around at one point.
Yeah, took him into town in Richmond.
Well, that happens later in the day.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what I thought you were going.
Oh, okay. Well,
I had nothing else to add about Jambo.
wow, that was the being searched by the MPs.
Well, yeah, I knew you were going to discuss that.
So at one point, we do get stopped because eventually someone noticed we were where we should not be.
Yeah, but I think wasn't that on the way out?
Yeah, it was totally on the way out.
Whatever.
They were like, "Why are you coming from this direction?"
Yeah.
And so we had to explain to them that, well, someone had guided us this way, and we ended up lost, and it was what it was.
Yeah.
And so they said, okay, that's suspicious as hell, so we got to search your vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
So they waved us into like a big white building that had 2 stalls for car searches.
Yeah.
I think. I don't know if that's the intent of the building, but it was clearly a car vehicle building.
Yeah, yeah.
And these 2 MPs tore apart our car, talking to us the whole time. They were very polite. They didn't do anything, too outrageous. Like, they weren't cutting up the seats or anything, but they did unpack the car.
Mm-hmm.
And which, hey, we were where we shouldn't have been. We didn't know that at the time.
Yep.
And so they were just doing their due diligence, checking to make sure we weren't doing anything we shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
In addition to, I guess we shouldn't have been doing. But, hey, it is what it is. But at one point, one of the MPs said the base commander drove the same vehicle with the same color.
Oh.
And that
there you go.
And the color that I had in my car is a very rare color for Chargers. So chances are they wouldn't have seen another one other than mine. So that was the explanation, is that they thought we were the base commander's vehicle.
Yeah, I missed that.
Yeah.
But it makes total sense because he didn't waste a second just waving us on. So
that was the explanation as to why they waved us the wrong way and why no one questioned us the whole day until the MPs noticed the wrong plates.
Yep.
But, this is the kinder, more gentler time of 2010.
Yeah.
I really hope you couldn't get away with something like that today. Again, not that we intended to do anything wrong or anything like that, and we didn't do anything wrong. But we definitely should have been stopped earlier,
Not our fault.
Yeah, well, it wasn't our fault. And I don't think it was any of the MP's faults either because, we didn't see any until then as we were leaving. So
Correct.
It's not like others were noticing us and not doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
But I think at one point we saw a tank.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was kind of cool. But yeah, and then we took Tyler and we went off base.
Yeah, we drove down to Richmond.
And had dinner there. We had dinner in the same restaurant twice.
Yes. It was really good.
Yeah. Their logo was a lobster.
Yeah.
For what good that does you. But it was a fantastic restaurant.
It was across the street from there was like not Capitol buildings, but there were some pretty cool buildings we walked around.
Yeah, so it was a Capitol building.
Okay.
We went to the Capitol of the Confederacy.
Oh, yes.
And it was the funniest thing. Like, the park was closed, kind of. Like, it was closing. It was like 20 minutes till closing of the park. That was in front of the old Confederate Capitol.
Yeah.
And, we went and we walked around on the steps of the Capitol building.
Yes.
And when we were walking down, we got stopped by a security guard. And the security guard said, what are you boys doing here? And I posed a question to him, which I said, gosh, now I'm looking very ignorant. I can't remember the president of the Confederacy's name off the top of my head. I'm looking to you, Matt.
No.
Yeah. President of the Confederacy. Jefferson Davis it was.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And so I said to the security guard, isn't this Jefferson Davis's capital? And the guy switched into a southern drawl at that point. Like, not a thick one.
Yeah, it
like,
was crazy. I remember that distinctly. He completely changed his accent.
Yeah, it was like a light switch.
Yeah.
He went from very accusatory to, like, instantly being our bud.
Yeah.
At which point he said, yeah, y'all Y'all need to be out of here in like 20 minutes. But until then, have a good time.
Oh, sick. Yeah. Yeah, it was cool just walking around and checking the place out.
Yeah. And at that point, I think we got back on the road.
Well, I mean, I do want to mention that we saw the LS Club.
Oh, yeah. I didn't realize that was in Richmond.
Yeah, and it was that night because it was late enough to the point where we just heard him and then like didn't see him in the lights and then that whole thing. But bunch of Chargers.
Yeah. This was before Challengers were everywhere. Yeah. But there was a 300, I think, in there too.
Yeah. The runt.
Oh, man. I love the LX platform, but
yeah, it's a pretty cool setup, but you know, weird to see a club like that. I don't know.
Atlanta actually has a huge car culture.
Yeah.
Just so you know. I mean, like a huge car culture.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does nothing for me. Well, ATL could literally just not exist and I would be fine. Except for Delta flights go there for going to Orlando. Anyways.
Atlanta's the most visited airport in the world.
Not
yes.
Me. Not me. I don't visit
it. But it's the busiest airport. The most busiest.
The most busiest is actually the scientific way to say it.
Yeah. Atlanta is the busiest airport on Earth, which I always find funny. Yeah.
I know it's an international. But I would think that, you know...
I would think like something like Beijing or Charles de Gaulle or something like that would be busier.
Or,
Heathrow,
yeah.
Yeah. Interesting, by the way, your snapping there didn't spike our audio, which is kind of cool.
Groovy.
But yeah, you would think Heathrow, you would think Charles de Gaulle, maybe something in China or Tokyo or something like that. But no, Atlanta is the busiest airport in the world. At least it was last year. I assume it was this year too, because just about every flight east and west stops there. It's a hub. It's the hub for the United States.
Yeah, I know it's a hub for Delta.
It's a hub for everyone.
Well, it's not a hub for American because they say their hub is in Houston, and that's as of this last year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Huh. So Houston has either United or American. I forgot which. I think it's American. And when I was flying to Orlando, I had to stop in Atlanta on the way there because I flew Delta there.
Yeah.
So Delta stopped in Atlanta. Then it was 20 minutes in the air to Orlando from Atlanta. It was great. Then on the way back, I flew American and I stopped in Houston, which sucked. Worst airport ever.
Really?
We landed at one part of the airport and we came in late.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to be on the other side of the airport in like 10 minutes because we were boarding at that point. Mm-hmm. And I had to take this train, and it took forever.
Did you take one of the land trains, or did you take a train?
I took a land train.
Okay.
Yeah, it took forever. I almost missed my flight.
Yeah.
It was gnarly. And then got on that.
Houston's a huge airport.
Yeah, I don't like it. Like, geographic...
It's a nice airport, but going through it.
If you're in a rush, it's horrible.
I know.
Well, it's stressful.
I like an hour or two layover there.
I mean, that's what I was supposed to have like an hour and a half. Yeah. And it turned into a 10 minutes jog. Like, almost a sprint.
Well, anyway.
Yeah.
So, we left Richmond.
Yes.
And our next stop was New York.
Yeah. So, that was not my first time in New York, but my first time as an adult, I guess? I mean, I don't know.
New York City. Just FYI.
Yes, and that was just so many people.
Yeah, considering the time of night we were there.
Yeah, it was like the middle of the night.
We were there at like 2 or 3 in the morning.
Yeah, and cars just zipping by, flying by. Trash trucks with dudes on them, jumping around.
Yeah, and the trash trucks never stopped moving.
They didn't, and the dudes would literally jump, lean over, grab the trash can, jump onto other cars, get it to the trash truck, and then, oh gosh, it was an acrobatic experience.
Yes, better than Cirque du Soleil. Yeah. It involved machines.
Yeah, and death was almost imminent.
So a couple notable things I think about this is when we were on Broadway, I noticed we were going really fast.
It was insane. It was almost uncomfortable.
No, it was very uncomfortable because we were like within inches of other cars.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea how fast we were going?
Yeah, because we're not about to go 1,000,000 miles an hour in the middle of a city with cars everywhere and people and trash monkeys and just ridiculousness.
They were all taxis, by the way, at this time of night. I didn't think we saw another normal car on the road.
No, yeah,
they were all taxis.
No.
So, just FYI, taxi drivers, we know your secrets.
Yeah. Crazy.
But anyway, so yeah, that was the thing. Then you had to use the restroom.
Yeah, stopped over on some random street. We
couldn't stop. We couldn't stop in all of New York City.
Yeah, it was weird.
We never found a parking spot.
I remember you did have to drop me off somewhere.
Yeah, and then I had to do loops coming back for you.
Crazy. And I went into a bar. I was 18, and I was like, "Hey, guy, I need to use the restroom," and you were the only place open. And he was like, "Sure, just let me in."
Yeah.
I was like, "All right, cool, good to know." I could have just stayed in there, but I went to the bathroom and then I came out because the place was not a place you want to stay.
Yeah,
it was gnarly.
I think I remember you saying it had a dirt floor.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Which is weird in New York City.
Oh yeah, we definitely picked the weird bar.
It was the only place open at 3 a.m. Yeah, but there was 2 other events specifically that I was thinking of New York. One of them was trying to get some McDonald's.
Oh yeah, weren't we in like Queens?
No, we were in like the Bronx.
The Bronx, that's right.
I'm like, hey, let's stop at this McDonald's, and you're like, no, please, for the love of God, no.
Because there were like, 8 military-age males hanging outside the front end, and it was the middle of the night. I was not.
You were having none of it.
Yeah, I was like, we're not going in there. What are you talking about? It's McDonald's, first off.
We're not even going through the drive-thru.
No, we're not even stopping. We're not even considering
Don't slow down. Yeah. I think you said don't slow down.
Slow down, man. Keep going 90.
No.
We went through Central Park, though.
Yeah,
that was really cool.
We drove through Central Park in the middle of the night.
That was fun. And there was actually a surprisingly large amount of traffic at that time, too.
Yeah. And those weren't cabs as much as Broadway was.
Yeah.
Most of the time we were able to go normal speeds, like 10, 20 miles an hour in a city. But it was just weird. Broadway was not the place to be at like 2 a.m.
No, it's a racetrack.
Yeah, it was truly frightening.
Unreal.
We got off that as fast as possible. But yeah. I just... One thing about me is I wanted my car to experience as much as possible, and so I wanted it to drive on Broadway.
Yes.
And so my little Charger got to drive on Broadway. It got to go through Central Park. Got to do all these things. But so those were the big events, except one final one.
What was that?
When we were leaving New York City, we got stopped by the police because we were the first car on the scene after an accident.
Oh, that's right.
And they thought we were part of the accident. They thought we were a street racer or something like that.
Yeah, because we're in a 06 Charger.
At the time, it was hot stuff. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, 100%. But like, it wasn't like flashied up. Like, it was a good looking car, very clean, but not like, all right, this dude obviously does street racing or whatever. It just looked like a stock nice vehicle.
Yeah.
But
we were the first car on the scene.
Exactly.
There was, I can't remember if it was a Ferrari or a Lamborghini.
I distinctly remember that.
In the tree.
Yep.
Physically up in the tree, like a good 10 feet or so, just in a tree.
Ridiculousness.
Yeah. It was the weirdest thing. And I think there was another car wreck nearby, but I didn't notice. I
don't remember what it was.
But I distinctly remember the rear end of that car in the tree. And this cop with like this really thick, I think Bronx accent, New York accent of some sort, says, so where are you boys coming from tonight? Richmond. Yeah.
Stupid answer. Very sketchy.
And he goes, huh. Why are you here? We're trying to leave town. Oh. I don't know if we actually said that, but we were saying, like, yeah, we're trying to get on the road.
Yeah. Just going north.
And he rattled off a whole bunch of questions to us, and at least once more, if not two more times, brought back, "Where are you coming from tonight?"
Yeah, and he was asking us if we were drinking,
Yeah.
just the whole spiel. But
I mean, I don't blame him. Like, that's a weird response to "Where are you coming from tonight?" Richmond, in New York City.
yeah,
Because it was like 3 in the morning because we left Richmond at like 10.
yeah,
Maybe even a little earlier though. Because it was late, but it wasn't really late when we left Richmond. Because the park had just closed. That's what made us leave.
mm-hmm.
So it might have been like 9 or something like that. But yeah, so that was a weird response to say like, no, Richmond. But we never stopped in New York. I didn't even stop. Like, you almost had to tuck and roll to get out of the car.
Yeah.
So, what else were we going to tell him? I didn't want to lie to an officer,
I mean, there's no reason to.
Yeah. But he did think it was a weird answer, but he did accept it.
Yeah. I mean, we left.
Yeah.
We're here today.
We're here today. So then I thought we were going to take the Trans-Canadian Highway.
That was a mistake, but I mean, we did make it to a sketchy hotel and.
Well, there's a thing before that.
Oh, okay.
There's several things.
Niagara Falls.
Yeah, and the fact that we drove to the main border and turned around before we got there.
Yeah.
We drove up almost to Maine and then turned around.
Yeah. Because we were like, Niagara Falls. Gotta hit it.
Yeah.
That's gotta be where we go into Canada.
Well, you can't go into Canada through Maine as far as I know.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
There must be.
There has to be a boat or something. But
who knows?
Who knows? We don't. So, we went to Niagara Falls. We watched a Niagara Falls documentary there.
We did?
Yeah.
Oh? Well, alright.
We went to their massive gift shop.
We went to the Hard Rock.
Yeah, we went to that Hard Rock. We had lunch there.
That was a good time. Watched around, took some pictures, did the whole, tourist picture thing.
Yeah, we didn't go on the boat, the Maid of the Mist.
No, because that's kitschy. That's
oh, that was
that's the line I draw. I don't go. Come on, come on. You can't go on that unless you're a local or from like Japan or something. Somewhere far off.
So we did go down to the like patio deck things. And we walked around there. It was really cool. It was worth going to, especially since we were in the area.
Awesome.
And then we went into Canada.
Yes.
And we were greeted by massive signs that said, "Speeding violations of over 5 kilometers per hour will result in immediate impoundization of your car." And we're like, huh.
Yeah. So they take speeding very seriously.
Yet everyone speeded.
Everyone, yeah.
Except us. No, we didn't.
I don't think so.
No, we really didn't speed. Sorry, Matt's was giving me strange looks, and now is looking like he's thinking deeply. But no, I specifically was not going to speed.
No, yeah, I can't imagine us even considering it after, because I remember those signs.
Yeah. And
there's no reason to, but that's the whole reason why later events happened, because it took us forever to get to Ontario or Toronto or wherever we stayed.
I honestly don't remember. I'm sorry. But yeah, it took us forever to get where we were going because the speed limit was like 40 kilometers per hour on the highway. It might have been 60 kilometers per hour, but it was really slow.
It was like the equivalent of like 55 miles an hour.
No, it was slower than that.
It was ridiculous. So we were on that for a little bit, and then
a day.
Yeah, and then we found out that we were like, all right, let's dip down into Michigan, and go through like Saint something, Augustine or whatever, and then take American freeways back.
Well, that's when we got stopped by Border Patrol or
Yes.
Border Inspection because we were coming back through the border.
Yeah.
And we came across like, I'm sorry, I know their job has to be really tough, but we came across a really, really mean border agent.
Very.
It was like, why were you in Canada? Well, we're going to take the Transcontinental Highway. Why didn't you take it? The speed limits are too slow. Ah, so you're speeding. No, officer.
No, that's the whole
Like,
point.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then so he started going through all our stuff. He ended up breaking stuff in my trunk.
Yep.
He broke the liner of my trunk and it never worked again. I have to replace that. And he found my writing desk.
Yes, he did.
And this is one of the big stories from the trip, is he found my writing desk and he said, "What the hell is this?"
I don't know, guy. Why don't you open it? It's pretty obvious.
And I said, "It's a writing desk." And he said, "Don't give me any lies. Or don't give me any sass."
Yeah.
I think it was "Don't give me any sass" or something like that.
Something to that effect.
And then he said, "Don't lie to me. No one writes letters anymore."
Yeah. It's like, all right, guy, the arbiter of truth in 2010, knowing of all facts. God.
Yeah, it was just funny. I literally brought a writing desk with me to write letters.
Yeah.
I sent tons of postcards and stuff on that trip.
Yeah.
But yeah, he just thought that was really weird. Eventually, he let us back home.
It's like, obviously, we're American. We have no contraband. We were completely fine. We didn't break any laws. He was just very concerned with us.
Yeah, I don't understand why. Maybe he was having a rough day, you know? You gotta give these people the benefit of the doubt, but I don't like that he broke my car. That was not okay.
Well, I mean, he didn't treat us with respect.
No, especially considering how much we cared for him. All of our interactions with police officers on this trip were, good.
Yes.
Except for this one. But it's funny that there were multiple interactions with a police officer on this trip. But hey, you travel like 10,000 miles and eventually something comes up, know. So then we started heading across the north of the country. We went through Montana. And that's where our next police officer encounter happened.
I don't remember that one.
It's because you were in the restroom.
Ah.
You were in the restroom.
You sabotage me, guy.
Yeah. And I went up and talked to a police officer, and I said, "Hey, man, I hear Montana has no speed limit."
Hey, guy.
And he goes, "Yeah, that's true. We don't have a state speed limit." And I said, "So does that mean if I'm on a highway where there's no posted speed limit, I can go as fast as I want?" And he goes, "Whoa, man, don't be thinking that.
Don't be. That's just pure malarkey."
If see, the thing about it is that, yeah, we may have no speed limit, but we still have the rule of safe and sane. So if it's like the middle of the night in the rain and you're in a minivan and you're doing like 60, I'll pull you over because that's not safe for conditions. But if you're in a sports car and it's the middle of the day and there's no one else on the road and conditions are good, yeah, you can go like 90. So we went like 80. At one point, we stopped somewhere along the northern part of the country and decided to sleep for the night. And I made a drastic tactical error. Do you remember this?
No.
It was.
I was just remembering seeing eyes on the side of the road, and we're going 80 miles an hour. There's no changing what the outcome will be if we make head-on collision with anything. So I'm just sitting back, trying to relax. Not really. Just kind of like eyes are bloodshot. I'm just like, this is great.
Oh, that wasn't even as bad as when we were in Washington. When we were coming into Republic with the deer.
Yeah.
No, what I'm thinking about is we stopped for the night somewhere off the side of the road in like a cornfield.
I remember that.
We stopped in a farmer's field. There was like a pull off. And, we didn't stop on his crops or anything like that, but there was a little pull-off. And it was cold enough to where we didn't have to leave the car on all night, but it was warm enough to where I opened the windows. And the car got full of mosquitoes.
Oh, my God, that's right.
You forgot about this. Yeah, because we went to sleep and then woke up to, not hundreds, but maybe a dozen or so mosquitoes in the car.
Yeah, a good amount. Something to definitely be like, what the hell?
Yeah.
How did this get in here?
It was because we had the sunroof popped open.
This guy, his sunroof.
So yeah, mosquitoes, they were a thing.
Yeah.
We then went to Glacier National Park.
That was a good time.
Yeah. We
Beautiful.
we specifically went there because they kept talking about how the glacier will be gone in the next year or two.
Yeah, global warming and something like that.
Do we know if the glacier disappeared?
No.
Oh.
Because it didn't.
Did it? Are you
No.
sure? Can you say that?
100% positive.
All
Look
right.
into it.
I'm going to look this up. Bro, you talk about Glacier National Park.
Alright. It was awesome. Al Gore's a liar. His only redeeming qualities, he went to college with Tommy Lee Jones. And that's about it.
Come on, you gotta...
Oh, I mean, you can't describe in words what we saw. This whole trip, it's impossible. Like, we saw some truly awesome things.
Huh.
Huh, what?
Okay, so I just want to point out that as of June 2018, there are still glaciers in Glacier National Park.
Yes.
But there was an article from CNN from 2009 that the link is there, but the page is deleted. It says Glacier National Park will lose its glaciers.
Yeah, CNN. Fake news.
We don't get political on this podcast.
It's CNN. I will stop there.
Anyway.
It's my view, not the channel's.
That's fair. That's
yeah,
fair.
Exactly. I could be... Yeah, well, continue.
So, we did a few things. Like, we had lunch there, of course. We drove through some really cool mountain ranges.
Very cool.
If you haven't been to Glacier National Park, I would frankly describe it as what you expect Yellowstone or Yosemite to be. If you're not a person who goes to national parks, if you have this impression of this beautiful, lush, forested, mountainous woodland, you get that more out of Glacier National Park than you would out of a Yosemite or Yellowstone. Yosemite and Yellowstone both have their features that are worth visiting, but if you just want the generic national park experience, I'd recommend Glacier over either of those. Fair enough?
I mean, I wouldn't agree with that. I think you should go to all of these parks.
Should go to all 100+ national parks.
Yeah, and then but all the national ones, or international ones as well.
Are there international national parks? International national parks?
International parks, yes, they are.
Huh.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, there's talk about that. We'll talk about that later, because that's another show. Matt's shaking his head. Do you know where that reference is from?
I know, but I don't. It's driving me insane because I keep hearing you say that,
Yeah,
and it drives me up a wall because I don't like it. And I know where it's from.
Yeah,
I just can't place it.
I can guarantee you've seen this show, and you kind of get what I'm referencing. But anyway, the show's Good Eats.
Oh, God. What's his face?
Alton Brown.
Yes, Alton Brown.
Our Lord and Savior, Alton Brown. Yeah, he used to, on Good Eats, whenever he would like almost get sidetracked by something, he would stop himself by saying, "But that's another show." And so I like that phrase because it helps us stay on topic, even though we went on a whole tangent about national parks, but I knew that was, it's okay. So anyway.
The longer tangent was airports.
Yeah, but I mean, hey.
Airports on a road trip.
Yeah. Anyway, Glacier National Park, it's worth seeing.
Absolutely.
We also, just for viewer reference, we tried to get buffalo wings in Buffalo, New York.
Yes.
That didn't work out.
No.
We ended up in Rochester instead, and Buffalo, but we couldn't find a wing place.
Go figure.
Did we drive through Chicago? Oh my gosh, we didn't talk about Boston.
Ooh,
yeah.
Boston was sick.
Yeah. That was,
backtrack a couple days.
Yeah, because we had to stop after New York because, it was like 3 a.m. when we were there, so we went to Boston. Yeah.
Before New York, it was Boston.
I think so. Was it?
Yeah, we hit Boston before New York.
That makes geographical sense.
What other sense is there?
I don't know. So then what did we tell the cop in New York if it wasn't, we're coming from Richmond?
We told him we were coming from Richmond. Because for whatever reason, that was our last checkpoint. Like, yeah, oh yeah, we're coming from Richmond. We might have said
we
Huntington.
No, we stayed the night. We stayed the night in Richmond, spent the day in Boston, and then went to New York City. That was what it was. So yeah, that's why Richmond was our last checkpoint.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we did lunch in Boston.
Yeah. Yeah, we had lunch in Boston Harbor.
It was beautiful. Perfect day, too. Sunny, like 65. It was great.
We saw the Constitution.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I don't know if we went to the Commons. Did we?
No.
We didn't go to
do
the
that.
Commons.
But we did get fish and chips.
We did get fish and chips, and we drove around the city. We spent a lot of the time driving around the city, seeing the sights. Like, I know I took you to the Old North Church.
Yes.
But we didn't go inside.
No.
But we drove around Boston to see the city. We ended up in a lot of bad parts of town.
Always.
Yeah,
we're just attracted to these bad parts.
Well, that's what made me think about it, is because we were going through either Detroit or Chicago. And I remember my mother on the phone saying, please don't go. And so we didn't, but we went on the outskirts of it.
I think we swung around one, but then we went through the other.
I think we swung around Chicago and went through Detroit. Or it might have been the other way around.
I think we went through Detroit.
Yeah.
Because we were trying to find Ford dealership or a Ford factory or something.
We were trying to find the Packard factory.
That's right, yes.
Yeah. Oh, we also went searching for my 9th great-grandfather's grave.
In Maryland.
Yeah.
Yes. I remember that.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
That was a fiasco. Well, okay, I've been saying that a lot lately.
But most of the trip was a fiasco.
It was a huge fiasco. Much malarkey.
So much malarkey, yeah.
That was a long excursion that we did. Because it was in like the late afternoon. We kept driving around. We couldn't find it. It took forever.
We never did find it.
Yeah, we were just... It was a goose hunt. Goose chase.
Wild goose chase, yeah. My 9th great-grandfather was a captain in the Royal Army. His name was Richard Beers, hence Captain Richard Beers. And he died in the Pequot War, I think it was.
Yeah, whatever that was.
King Philip's War.
Yes.
King Philip's War. He was a sergeant in the Pequot War, and then he was a captain in the King Philip's War. And he was killed early on in the King Philip's War, and there was a monument put up to him and the men who died with him that said, on this spot in 15-something or other, Captain Richard Beers and his men were surprised by Indians. And I just thought that was funny.
Yes.
As well as, it's a part of my family history. So I wanted to go and see that. And they named the mountain he died on, Beers Mountain. But for some reason or another, it got renamed recently, like in the 60s, to Bears Mountain.
A little easier to pronounce.
See, I think from what I read, it was not like a political, like social justice thing. It was literally, they didn't want the positive connotation with beer. Like liquor beer. And people were calling it Bears Mountain for a while. It's actually interesting that a lot of places named beers eventually become named bears over time. It's just kind of a entomological thing. Anyway, so we drove around. We ended up at some like grade school that eventually said, oh yeah, it's like right up the hill, and we never found it.
Yeah. So,
hey, at least we got to go to the place where my 9th great-grandfather died and such, but we never found the monument.
No.
So that was we did find a plaque to the King Philip's War, though, which I know I took a picture of, which is on that hard drive that crashed. Sad panda. Always back up your photos, guys. Rules of 3. Have, quick backup, your work copy, and a copy off-site. Don't take anything for granted. But anyway, while we're here, digressing from the main conversation, I also thought I would break up or talk about the fact that we bought things on the trip. Like, at one point, I bought a sword.
Oh, yeah. That was out of Bass Pro or Cabela's?
Cabela's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was sick. Back when Cabela's was Cabela's.
Yeah. It's not a sword. It's a pig hunting knife.
Yes, it just happens to be like a meter long.
Yeah. It's pretty fantastic. It's like the stainless steel Bowie knife that's like 3 times bigger than it should be, with an elk antler handle.
Yeah, and a pretty gnarly hilt too. Like it's a unit.
Yep. And I bought a buck knife.
Oh, I bought a buck knife too.
Did you buy the same buck knife on the same trip?
We did buy the same buck knife on the same trip. I think that was your second buck knife though. Of
Yeah.
that style.
I think I got mine before you got yours.
You did.
And you eventually needed to get one.
Yeah.
Do you mind if I tell the story?
I mean, yeah, let's leave that out.
Okay.
It's a weird story to throw in this.
Fair enough. So we made it out of New England. We made it out of the northern parts of our country, and we went into Washington. And this is really where the hills had eyes. That's a joke about the deer eyes.
Yes.
Well, they need to know.
I know. I got you. I got it.
Yes.
Listener, I don't care about you. Clearly, this is just a conversation between two dudes. Don't know what this little thing is. I don't know what that is. This is a microphone? Is it a camera? I don't know what it is.
Just, be thankful that this isn't a visual podcast.
I would like to do that eventually.
You would like to do that?
Yeah,
Okay.
Because take anyone that I watch.
Yeah. They have the face cameras.
They have the face cameras. They got skits. They got the whole table. I think that looks kind of cool. L with C.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, but I was thinking, I ain't doing skits.
Well, no.
For the rest of it, yeah.
No, I was referencing skits to that specific guy. But like let's say with Joe Rogan, it's pretty neutral.
Well, that's
so
a lot of people think he's right wing, but he's totally not.
He's like very libertarian.
I was gonna say he's so centrist.
Yeah, he's very
libertarian.
Anyway,
that's beside the point.
But like something like that, I like the views of his podcast being like the whole table, all like the cups and random stuff that's on the table.
When I have my office,
yeah,
I'll have a place to shoot and all that.
That'd be cool.
Until then, it'll probably be audio only unless we come up with a shooting location. This room isn't suitable.
Well, yeah, I mean,
yeah.
It is.
Okay, maybe. Anyway, we'll talk about that some other time. So we were going into Washington.
Indeed.
And there were deers.
Very rare. Very rare.
Very rare.
Very rare.
We were very wary of these deers.
Yeah, it's kind of hard not to be. And they're staring at you.
Yeah.
Into your soul. And just like, hey, I'm going to do it.
You don't think I am?
You don't think I am? My brain is so small. I can jump. I'm going to jump right now. Just you wait. I'm waiting for you to get in the right location to where you can't swerve out of the way. I'm gonna kill myself on you. That's what they were thinking. I'm taking you with. They were the kamikaze deer of Washington. I was frightened.
Yeah, we were coming through Republic on Highway 20. In the middle of the night, like 1, 2 in the morning.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. I was tired.
Yeah. And then we spent a couple days at my place.
That was amazing.
Drove around in the thing.
Oh yeah. Got it stuck?
Yeah, talk about what happened with the thing.
What happened? Was it the transmission?
The clutch gave out.
Oh, that's right. And then we just pulled into some neighbor's driveway and we're like, alright, we're going to leave it here later.
Yeah.
Your dad was like, what?
Yeah, he blamed it on me. Which, hey, it did happen under my watch. But get this, dear listener. For those of you who drive manuals, maybe you'll understand how awful this was. This car, the shift pattern was straight forward to the left, left and then straight forward was first gear. Then straight back was reverse. Second gear was over to the right and then down. So
straight forward
being third,
and then
down and
shut up.
Yeah.
Okay, so I get the pattern.
You get the pattern, but the important thing is the listener getting the pattern. So,
Okay.
Well,
yeah, no, I get you.
So my point is, dear listener, that this car originally had a push in, like you had to push the stick shift down into the car and then back for it to go into reverse. But that had worn out over time for whatever reason. So just straight back was reverse.
You know what's funny is the Ford Bronco, at least to my knowledge, from 80 to 96, when they had push on the fly 4-wheel drive.
Yeah.
You could have the buttons, or you could have a stick, a manual transfer case.
Yeah.
Mine is electronic. Aaron's is manual.
Cool.
So in order to engage the 4-wheel drive, you got to push down, push forward for high, push down, pull back for low. I like the push because it gets you to like, all right, I'm in this.
You're engaging it.
Like this is what I'm doing. Like 100%, no like this is what's happening. I like that as opposed to if I bump just my 4-wheel drive, it's like, all right, we're in 4-wheel drive now, guys. Transmission's gonna get destroyed. The transfer case is gonna blow up because you're going 90 in reverse. I don't know what you're doing 4-wheel drive 90 at reverse. That's just a bad time. But, you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Anyway, I like that. But go on.
Well, it was just that it was worn out. So that meant that just about every time you try to go in a second, you would, about 1 and 2 times, you would go into reverse, which burned up the clutch pretty quickly.
Or, I imagine you accidentally skipping second and going straight to fourth?
Yeah.
You ever
No, fourth is all the way to the right and up.
Okay, so it'd be third. Okay, so you're in. Okay, let's say
the
you're
only
in first,
gear that's down.
You're trying to get
is
into second. Then you got third.
Yeah.
Then, I thought isn't fourth back?
Nope.
To the right and back.
Nope.
So it goes fourth.
Yeah.
And then there's no fifth.
There's no fifth.
That's okay.
Yeah.
And then would park be all the way in the back?
There's no park.
Neutral.
No, you park in gear. You park in a gear. I normally choose 1.
I like to park in fifth.
I mean, you can.
Top gear.
It's just a matter of keeping your car from rolling.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm just trying to figure out, like, is there the probability of you accidentally skipping out on that second gear, overshooting it, trying to compensate to not go into reverse?
You could, but the problem is that would make your engine lug. It wouldn't really damage the clutch that bad. What damages the clutch really bad is riding it or going into reverse. I mean, we're blessed that it damaged the clutch rather than damaging the transmission.
Yeah.
Because if that energy goes into the transmission, the gears are going the wrong way. All sorts of bad things happen.
I've seen that live.
Yeah. It's often called transmission salad.
Yeah. That's what it looks like.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
It gets shredded in there. There are like things like how thick a transpan is.
Yeah.
Like stuff's flying out. It's gnarly. It starts eating itself.
So, off topic but on topic. Years ago, my dad and I drove a Unimog to Washington State from Southern California and then back. Except we only got halfway back. For those of you who don't know, the Unimog has a sheathing of iron or armor around its axles. Okay? And so the transmission is connected to the axles with this armor, with a gasket. And so when the transmission seal started failing, it just poured into the gasket and then into this little armor sheathing around the axles. So we kept topping it off, and it wasn't leaking. It's all good. Till eventually, one of the seals on one of the axles burst, and the entire transmission dumped fluid over the freeway. And there's no warning. You don't hear anything. You don't see anything. There's no gauges telling you something's wrong.
This is a nightmare I have.
And so I was driving for like a good half hour on a dry transmission. And the only thing that made us pull off was we started smelling peanuts. We're like, what's this peanut nonsense going on here? It was what was left of the transmission oil burning off.
That is so gnarly.
What color is a gear in a transmission?
Well, like the fluid?
No, the gears in the transmission. What color are they?
It depends on what material you have. I would think like almost a nickel color, you know?
Yeah.
Silver.
Ours were black. Like legitimately black. The metal had blued from the heat. And that transmission is never going to work again.
Nope. That's what we call dust.
Yeah, this was I've never seen anything like it, and nor did any of the mechanics we showed it to. All the mechanics were like, "Huh, you know this thing wouldn't run anymore." No, duh. But it was impressive that like it was going 50 miles an hour on a dry transmission. You know? And it did. It got us through. And it it even moved after that point, by the way. It was just stuck in that gear. It moved itself up and onto the trailer. The guy then drove it to a mechanic. It drove itself off of the trailer. They inspected it. And then it drove itself back on, went to another mechanic. The other mechanic moved it around for a while. That took years to get fixed. You know what the fix was?
What?
Replace the transmission.
Yeah, no, duh.
Yeah, just not even rebuild it, just replace the whole thing.
Oh yeah, it's cheap just to get a replacement.
Yeah, well, particularly at the time. Off on that story, just to wrap it up and it's something kind of funny. I called mechanics all over Southern California to see if they would deal with it. And the Mercedes dealership was like, nah, man, we won't deal with that. We won't touch that. Called all sorts of like shade tree mechanics and whatnot. And they're like, yeah, sorry, bro. We don't have the equipment to deal with that. And so I started calling all the car dealerships in Southern California. Just going through, the yellow book, going one by one. Eventually, I called the Ferrari dealership around here and said, hey, can you guys do a transmission job on a Unimog? And they said, sure. What's a Unimog? Yeah, they answered sure first. But, I mean, they are a Ferrari dealership. They shouldn't say no. Because that's kind of one of their things is, when you buy one of these multi-$100,000 vehicle, there's no answer such as no. They figure out how to do it. And so I asked them, hey, okay, so, this is what it is. This is the problem. I even got the spare part for you. And they said, okay. That'll be about $9,000 a day before parts and labor.
Wow.
I said, what? And they said, well, our going rate is about $3,000 per bay per day. And typically a car's only in here for an hour or so they only pay a portion of that. Your car, this job's going to be a multi-day fiasco. And it's going to take up 3 of our bays that we could be using to work on other cars. You are going to pay that $3,000 a day per bay. $9,000 before parts and labor. A day.
Later.
At this time, dear listener, the car was only worth about $7,000.
Yeah.
Even today, they're not worth that much. But so we went, drat. This is the end of the Unimog, because at this point you buy another one. I mean that's you just buy another one. It's cheaper. And got a lead on a mechanic that ended up being not only a mechanic but a friend, and the guy did fantastic work. And still use him to this day to do all sorts of repairs. He keeps my fleet running on time.
Yeah,
Yeah. Anyway, so
I actually okay, so I was looking to get some exhaust work done, and I was looking online. And I was like, hey, who's around me, and who's around my work, and I found his website. And I was like, this guy again. Oh, we've had some times.
Anyway.
Yeah, I won't even discuss it. Go on.
I think I'm actually gonna. Anyway, so yeah, that was the whole ordeal with the Unimog, but it is what it is. So back to Washington. We spent a couple days there. mostly by ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where my parents went off to.
They weren't there.
They were there for part of it. I think they went to Canada, though.
Well, I mean, I don't think they... Oh, that's right, because...
They were there the first
we were
night.
We were downstairs in the by the fireplace, right?
Yeah. Oh, so they just went. No, because we were definitely there one night alone.
Yeah, there was one night alone.
I think they went to Canada, but that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Then we mostly beelined it straight home after that.
Yeah, just hit up random little spots here and there.
Is there anything else you can think of from the trip?
I really enjoyed all the Bass Pro and Cabela's that we went to.
Yeah.
Those are always awesome. Cabela's is definitely the better shop, in my opinion.
No, you're not wrong. Cabela's. What I like about Cabela's is they have they sell used guns. Bass Pro Shops doesn't.
I don't know. I don't buy firearms from either of those companies.
Oh, well.
I'm wearing a flannel though from Cabela's.
Yeah, Cabela's has like their gun library where they have nice, high quality.
Oh yeah,
guns.
you walk in there, it's like a whole room. Yeah.
But they also sell surplus military firearms and stuff like that. Like the last time I was at a Cabela's, you could still pick up an SKS for like $400. Yeah, that was this year.
When was that?
That was back when I was in Peoria. So back in June. They had an SKS on the shelf for $400.
Interesting. That's cool.
They also had World War II German Mauser on the shelf for like $700, which wasn't bad, but it was a Russian capture, so it was bad for the price. They had some Yugos on the shelf. They had a bunch of Mosins still.
No one likes a Mosin.
Everyone loves a Mosin. Everyone loves a moist nugget. Sorry, I love that the internet calls Mosin Nagats nuggets. And I've heard some people even call them moist nuggets. And I don't know why, but I love that.
No.
Da, tovarich. Anyway. So yeah. The trip was fantastic. Kind of a once-in-a-lifetime thing, even though I did the same thing the next year, kind of.
Yeah.
But alone, so it wasn't as cool. And it was beelining. But that is a story for another day.
Indeed.
So, until next time, listeners. See you out there.